Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl on your face when you're sleeping. The deep sea is full of bizarre anomalies that we simply can't explain, and it all makes sense. Not only have the many oceans been left unexplored, and many lakes and other bodies of water are also extensive with secrets waiting to be discovered. From lost cities to strange monuments, today we're looking at 10 deep sea anomalies that cannot be explained by anyone. Let's begin. Number 10. The Lost City. If you're a fan of Greek mythology, lost cities should not be any surprise to you. Hint, Atlantis! But as mentioned, this is all fictional, and the idea of an ancient city being buried under the sea remained far-fetched until just recently. In 2000, Egyptians finally discovered an underwater city near the Nile River. It was about 1.8 miles into the Mediterranean Sea and about 10 meters below the surface. The city is one of the most prominently mentioned cities by historians. In the Egyptian antiquity records, it was referred to as Thonis, while the Greeks called it Heraklion. Recent historians believe that these were two different cities. In its heydays, the city served as a trading port, with its significance increasing in the late period of ancient Egypt, when it doubled up as a place for tax collection. It's believed that Thonis grew increasingly weak due to earthquakes and tsunamis, along with rising sea levels. This destruction began at the end of the 2nd century, and by the time the 8th century was wrapping up, the city was below the Mediterranean Sea.
Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and you'll get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it. It really works.
Number 9. Lake Michigan Stonehenge. Have you ever had that moment where you weren't looking for something, but were glad to find it? That's exactly what happened here. While scanning underneath the waters of Lake Michigan for shipwrecks, archaeologists found something a lot more interesting than they bargained for. They discovered a boulder with a prehistoric carving of a mastodon, as well as a series of stones arranged in a Stonehenge-like manner. If you think you've seen this somewhere, you're not wrong. There's the historic site in the UK, but no one expected a similar Stonehenge to be discovered under Lake Michigan. These rocks are believed to be 10,000 years old, and scientists say that these rocks were placed in the perfect order by some ancient civilization. Number 8. A giant eyeball. A mysterious giant eyeball found on a Florida beach in 2012 had scientists scratching their heads. The world wondered, could the bright blue sphere belong to a whale, a gigantic prehistoric squid, or some kind of undiscovered sea cyclops? This conclusion was based on the eyeball's color, size, and structure, along with the presence of bone around it. The ball is said to have been the size of a softball, and whatever creature it belonged to must have been remarkably huge, and has never been identified up to this day. Bony structures and its color led scientists to believe that the eye once belonged to a swordfish and was probably cut out by a fisherman. Swordfish, which can reach up to 1,100 pounds, are common in South Florida, so this guess would appear sound. Theories believe that a fisherman probably caught the fish at sea, cut the eyeball out while dressing it, and threw the body part into the ocean. Or, I suppose, it could be the Kraken. What do you think? Number 7. Disappearing Island. Have you ever heard of an island disappearing into thin air? Bermeja, a tiny uninhabited island to the northwest of the Yucatan Peninsula, seems to have done just that. One century, it's sitting pretty in the Gulf of Mexico. The next, it's vanished. Back in the 16th and 17th centuries, Bermeja was a common fixture on maps drawn by Spanish explorers. Its location sometimes varied slightly, but its existence seemed certain enough. But in the late 20th century, when researchers tried to find it to put on modern maps, they couldn't find the island anywhere. The traces were gone, and it seemed like the island never existed. Theories abound regarding Bermeja's mysterious fate. Was it a casualty of global warming and rising sea levels? Did an underwater earthquake shake it clean off the radar? Or did the CIA blow it up, as conspiracy theories suggest, with a view to expanding US sovereignty into the oil-rich Gulf? All these questions are pretty legit, but still, the disappearance is a mystery. Number 6. Bloop sound. Nothing like the mysterious bloop sound recorded in the South Pacific in 1997 had ever been heard before. It was very loud, low frequency, and had a unique pattern that made some think it was a newly discovered creature lurking in the depths. It also didn't help that the sound came from near the location of H.P. Lovecraft's fictional sunken city of R'lyeh, where a creature called Cthulhu is imprisoned. Researchers continued to look for the origin of the noise for years, until in 2005, they announced it had been an ice quake, which occurs when icebergs break off of glaciers. Although that reasoning has been generally accepted, some conspiracy theorists still feel the explanation is a little thin. Check out some less mysterious but still fascinating facts you never knew about our oceans. Number 5. Lake Vostok. In 2012, Russian scientists took an unusual discovery route. Customarily, they expected to find something new, but I bet they didn't prepare for this shocker. After drilling over 2 miles below the landscape of Antarctica, they found Lake Vostok under the surface of the East Antarctic ice sheet. Ordinarily, this lake ought to exist in our favorite fictional books or movies, but far from that, scientists discovered this lake right under the ice. They were not staggered by this lake, as there was more than meets the eye. Would you expect to find a lake buried in ice to be habitable? Certainly not. But when researchers took samples of this lake to the laboratory, they realized that some living organisms dwelled in the lake. For a lake that has existed for millions of years, one would expect it to be lifeless. As expected, the species of bacteria found in this lake were unfamiliar. They were alien-like and perceived to have existed for thousands of years. Aside from this lake, there are several others buried under Antarctica's ice sheet that are yet to be discovered. Antarctica is a bag full of surprises, and there's more that lies within for every surprise you unveil. Number 4. Sea Melody. Whales are magnificent creatures. The blue whale is the all-record holder for being the biggest animal ever. In addition to that, the blue whale is also known for its screeching sound that is pretty annoying to humans. However, in the 1960s, scientists discovered that this is actually a melody in whales' language. Yes, you've heard that right. What might seem like an annoying scream is actually the singing of a beautiful creature. The ocean is a vast open space, so to communicate underwater, it's best that your message travels far. Sound travels 4 times faster in water than in air, so many animals use this to their advantage. The blue whale is particularly famous for its melodious songs that echo in a hauntingly beautiful manner, but the singing may serve as more than a recreational pastime, and perhaps serve as a way to communicate with other whales many miles away. It might sound like screeching to us, but in reality, it's a melody that is pretty rare in the animal kingdom. Number 3. Baltic Sea Anomaly. This is one of the most bizarre deep-sea finds of the past decade. The discovery occurred in 2011 when a deep-sea exploration team called Ocean X came across an unusual formation 300 feet below the surface off the coast of Sweden. Upon further inspection, divers and surface crew reported malfunctions in their electrical equipment whenever they came within 200 meters of the object, which appeared to be shaped like the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars. Looking at sonar imaging, the anomaly showed interesting characteristics that seemed to distinguish it from a natural rock formation. Could it be that aliens had finally arrived, or have they been here the whole time? And with that, it's now time for today's subscriber pick. Today's photo was sent to us by one of our subscribers. If you come across a photo online and want to know more details about it, just send it on over to us. Who knows, we might even feature it on a future video. Number 2. Lost City of Cuba. A group of pyramid structures were found just off the coast of Cuba, along with other shapes that make it look like a sunken city. Researchers estimated they're around 6,000 years old. offshore engineer Paulina Zelitsky, her husband Paul Weinsweg, and her son Ernesto Tapanes found the structures using sophisticated sonar and videotape devices. Some structures within the complex were as long as 400 meters wide and as high as 40 meters. Some were sitting on top of each other, and they show very distinct shapes and symmetrical designs of a non-natural kind. The researchers showed them to scientists in Cuba, the US, and elsewhere, and nobody has suggested they were natural. I would hate to say that they discovered the lost city of Atlantis, but that's what some are saying. The truth is that there are many places that get lost to the tides of time, so while this could be it, we just don't know yet. Number 1. Yonaguni Monument. Beneath the coastal waters of the Japanese island of Yonaguni lies a series of mysterious rock formations. Since its discovery nearly 35 years ago, the strangely symmetrical shapes and structures of the Yonaguni Monument have led to fierce debate over its true origins. Could the odd shapes of this structure really have been carved by a lost Japanese civilization many thousands of years ago? Or is it just a stunning example of natural geology deep beneath the sea? Called the Japanese Atlantis, it is assumed by geologists that this was a whole city that was sunk by the huge earthquake some 2,000 years ago. Nearby are other formations are also found, suggesting it's a submerged ancient city. This theory contends that the structures are at least 5,000 years old and belong to a lost civilization, possibly the legendary Mu or Lemuria, but nothing has been confirmed. What do you think it is? Which one of these deep-sea anomalies can you explain? Let us know in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.